Welcome to State of Affairs. I'm Steve Adubato, coming to you from the Agnes Varis NJTV studio in Newark. We are pleased to welcome Mike Rispoli, director of an organization called News Voices New Jersey. Good to see you, Mike.
Thanks, Steve, for having me.
News Voices New Jersey is?
Right, so News Voices New Jersey is a project of Free Press. Free Press is a national media and technology advocacy organization that fights for the public's right to connect and communicate. So we work on a lot of different issues: net neutrality, broadband access, and the future of journalism. And through the News Voices New Jersey project, we look to build better relationships between local communities and the media outlets that serve them.
Put this in perspective. The FCC had what is called a spectrum auction. Of what and why does this matter?
Sure. So for the past year, the FCC has overseen the spectrum.
Federal Communications Commission.
Yeah, the Federal Communications Commission has overseen the spectrum auction that you're talking about. Essentially, the FCC is trying to free up spectrum to expand wireless coverage. And as a part of that, they're incentivizing television stations to sell their broadcast licenses. And so New Jersey, since it used to own the New Jersey network, actually owns public media broadcast licenses. And so New Jersey's been participating in this auction where they were looking to sell 4 licenses.
Okay, so why does it matter to the citizens of New Jersey and to media entities in the state?
Sure. So it matters because the state is set to receive hundreds of millions of dollars from the sale of these licenses. And so what we're interested in seeing is, can we find a way to take the hundreds of millions of dollars that are coming in and reinvest it back into supporting local journalism? The reason why we're focusing on this is because there's a local news crisis going on in New Jersey. There are fewer and fewer outlets every year. There are thousands of journalists that have been laid off in the past 10 years. And there are huge pockets of the state that get little to no coverage whatsoever. And that's not just a problem for the journalism industry, it's really a problem for our communities. Lots of studies have shown what happens to communities when news coverage is deficient or disappears. Corruption increases, fewer people vote, fewer people volunteer, fewer people are civically engaged when there are fewer media outlets serving those communities. And so this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to take a huge amount of money to figure out what's the future of media in New Jersey.
Who decides where this money goes?
All right, so the state legislature are going to be the ones deciding what happens to this money once it comes in. And at the moment, they haven't said what they're going to do with it. No. We just know that it's going to go to the general fund.
So let me ask you a question, and this is not to be self-serving because we are partners with NJTV, which is, you know, there was NJN, there is NJTV.
Right.
This started in July of 2011. We at the Caucus Educational Corporation are collaborators, independent producers who partner with this entity, NJTV. We're here in the studio.
Right.
What role do you feel that this organization plays in providing important news coverage to the state? Yeah,
NJTV has done a fantastic job covering the state of New Jersey. And we want to find ways to strengthen NJTV to really further their mission. And so we think that one of the ways that we can use this money is creating a consortium between the state's universities that NJTV would be able to tap into, essentially creating a fund for local media and local journalism that would help NJTV, but also help all the other media outlets in New Jersey and maybe start a few others that in communities that aren't being covered right now.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. There is an entity that you're talking about here called the New Jersey Civic Information Consortium that involves Montclair State University, NJIT, Rowan, and Rutgers. What is that, and why does it matter to this discussion?
Sure. So the idea behind the New Jersey Civic Information Consortium is that the money that would come in from the sale of the broadcast licenses would go into a fund that would grant out money to different projects or ideas that would support not only local journalism, but trying to find new and innovative ways to deliver information to communities. So that could be a digital startup, that could be NJTV using that money for a project, or it could be creating open data portals or whatever it may be.
Like, for example, NJTV has this ongoing initiative in your neighborhood, or in Camden, or in Trenton, they're going to other communities. That's in people's communities. So you keep talking about local community coverage, and I'm not here to plug NJTV, but that's exactly what they're doing.
Sure, sure. Yeah, so NJTV is one really
But
good
I'm saying
media
with these
outlet.
universities, what I'm
Right.
trying to get at, you're trying to get them to do more in their communities. It's not academic. You don't mean academic
No,
programming.
absolutely not.
I'm trying to understand why academic institutions of higher learning are involved.
Right. So it would be a way to create a fund that would promote research and innovation in media. But the big thing with the consortium, as we see it, is that it wouldn't get caught up in the ivory towers of academia. They would have to partner with local media outlets.
This is
practical,
hands-on,
absolutely,
media that matters in people's communities. Just so we understand,
absolutely,
it's not media research.
No, it's not media research. The most important thing that this fund would do is to get money into communities, get it to local media outlets, NJTV and others.
How much does it worry you, Mike, that I mean, some of us who are old school like to pick up that newspaper? Yeah,
right.
we are following everything we got to follow. Yeah, we got it. Don't worry about it. But we like to pick it up. We like to get our hands dirty. Dinosaurs or what? Us and them? Us and it?
I don't think so. Yes. People consume media
Yes, I'm a dinosaur. Thank you very much.
No, of course not. No, of course not, Steve.
But what's going to happen? Seriously.
I think that's what we're trying to figure out, right? I mean, I talk to people. I grew up in Monmouth County. I talk to people who are my family and friends,
Is
and they see
press still relevant?
Absolutely.
But they're also online growing.
And they're online growing, but people are seeing that paper is getting thinner and thinner every day. So people are asking what's going to happen to the future of media in New Jersey, and that's what we're trying to figure out. You're absolutely not a dinosaur, Steve, but I do think that we do have to figure out, okay, if people's consumption habits are changing,
particularly
when it comes
younger
to media,
people. Our 14-year-old looked at the sports page in the record the other day. He's like, "Well, Dad, how do I read this?"
Right.
Because he's always reading.
Right, on the phone, on a tablet.
Are younger people going to adapt, or we just have to adapt to them?
I think it's going to be a combination of both, and I'll give you an example.
Sure, go. We've got a minute left.
Yeah, there's a really good media outlet in New Brunswick called New Brunswick Today. They started out online only. They realized that there were huge pockets of the community that they weren't reaching, so they started doing a monthly newspaper. So what we have to recognize is that people get their information from a variety of sources.
That's right.
And so what we need to do is figure out what are those sources, what are their needs, and figure out ways to deliver them information that gets in front of them, not say it should be online only, it should be print only. It's all of the above. And we think that the consortium is going to provide the opportunity to actually discover what the needs are of communities and deliver them information.
P.S. I think you like Tap Into as well?
I love Tap Into.
Do we have, Jack, we had Michael Shapiro, or is that? He came in, he was terrific. That's a great site. We're not promoting any particular site, but go out there, find different sources, and don't forget newspapers still are relevant in public broadcasting.
Absolutely, support journalism.
Listen, keep doing what you're doing, Mike. You're doing important work.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
State of Affairs, come back right after this.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Agnes Veris NJTV studio at 2 Gateway. Funding has been provided by Summit MD Anderson Cancer Center, Delta Dental of New Jersey, Valley National Bank, Johnson & Johnson, New Jersey Resources, New Jersey Sharing Network, and by the North Ward Center.